HIV, or human immunodeficiency virus, has had an enduring global impact. As per the latest data, there are about 38 million people currently living with HIV around the world. Nearly 1.7 million people were newly infected in 2019 alone, and over 690,000 people died from AIDS-related illnesses that same year. The pandemic continues to claim lives and disrupt societies on a massive scale. In the face of this dire situation, the question on many minds is, what happened with the HIV vaccine trial in Africa? Welcome to the fascinating yet challenging journey of finding an HIV vaccine. It's a quest that has engaged scientists and medical professionals worldwide. One promising endeavor is the experimental HIV vaccine EOD GT 860 MAR. In a phase 1 study, this vaccine exhibited encouraging results, inducing broadly neutralizing antibody precursors in 97% of the 36 recipients. It was a significant stride, establishing a clinical proof of concept for developing boosting regimens against HIV. However, it's not all smooth sailing. The vaccine had a favorable safety profile with no serious adverse events reported, but it's still in the experimental stage. The study is ongoing and more research is needed before it can be considered for public use. The development of broadly neutralizing antibodies is a crucial challenge in HIV vaccine research. An effective HIV vaccine would make protection against the virus more accessible and reduce the risk of transmission. This sets the stage for the main event, the Halted HIV vaccine trial in Africa. In 2019, Johnson & Johnson embarked on a late-stage global trial for an HIV vaccine. The trial was a significant endeavor, involving approximately 3,900 participants from various backgrounds. The majority of the participants were gay men and transgender individuals, a demographic that has been significantly impacted by the HIV epidemic. The trial sought to test the efficacy of a new HIV vaccine, administered through a series of 4 shots over the course of a year. These shots were not of a single type, but rather, 2 different kinds were used in an attempt to ensure a broad and effective immune response against the virus. The selection of participants was also unique. The study specifically targeted individuals who had chosen not to use pre-exposure prophylaxis, a preventative treatment for HIV. This decision was made to provide a clearer picture of the vaccine's effectiveness in a real-world scenario where prophylaxis is not in use. The trial was a beacon of hope in the ongoing fight against HIV, a virus that continues to claim hundreds of thousands of lives each year. In 2021 alone, an estimated 650,000 people died from HIV-related causes, and 1.5 million people acquired the infection. A successful vaccine could drastically reduce these numbers, making protection against the virus more accessible and reducing the risk of transmission significantly. After 4 years of rigorous testing and study, the results of the trial were finally ready to be revealed. But the news was not what everyone had been hoping for. The vaccine had been found to be ineffective in preventing HIV infections. This was a major setback in the search for an HIV vaccine, as the virus's rapid mutation and ability to evade the immune system continues to pose significant challenges. Unfortunately, the trial did not yield the results everyone was hoping for. However, the journey is far from over. Various other HIV vaccine candidates are currently under trial, each one a new hope in the quest to find an effective vaccine against this devastating virus. Despite high hopes and significant investment, the trial was deemed ineffective in preventing HIV infections. As the news broke, the world was left with a sense of disappointment, but also with a deeper understanding of the complex challenges in the quest for an HIV vaccine. The reasons for the trial's failure are multi-layered, much like the virus itself. At the forefront is the rapid mutation of the HIV virus. This is not a static enemy, but one that evolves and adapts at a pace that outstrips our current scientific capabilities. It is a shapeshifter, constantly changing its genetic makeup, which makes it incredibly difficult to target with a single vaccine formulation. Compounding this issue is the virus's uncanny ability to evade the immune system. HIV is not just a virus, it's a master of disguise. It hides in the very cells designed to destroy it, turning our body's defense mechanisms against us. This ability to hide in plain sight within the immune cells is a major obstacle in vaccine development. The trial's vaccine was designed to stimulate the production of broadly neutralizing antibodies, a crucial line of defense against the virus. However, despite initial promising results, the vaccine was unable to consistently induce these antibodies in a sufficient number of recipients to prevent infection. The trial's design also played a role in its outcome. Over the course of a year, participants received 2 different types of shots in 4 vaccination visits. While designed to maximize the chances of a successful immune response, this regimen might not have been enough to combat the stealth and resilience of the HIV virus. The trial's failure is not just a setback for Johnson & Johnson, but for the global community. Each failed trial is a missed opportunity to curb the spread of HIV and to reduce the staggering number of new infections and HIV-related deaths each year. This led to the unfortunate decision to halt the trial, leaving the world waiting for a breakthrough. Yet each disappointment is also a stepping stone, a chance to learn, adapt, and try again. The fight against HIV is far from over. The discontinuation of the trial had immediate effects, both on the participants and on Johnson & Johnson. For the nearly 4,000 gay men and transgender people who were part of this study, the news was a blow. These individuals had stepped forward, trusting in the potential of this vaccine, and now faced the reality that their hopes were in vain. They had been willing to be part of the trial, not accepting pre-exposure prophylaxis, and now they were left vulnerable once again. This, undoubtedly, leaves a dent on their morale and faith in medical advancements. The impact was not just on the participants. The ripple effect of this disappointment reached far and wide. Johnson & Johnson, a giant in the pharmaceutical industry, also felt the sting of this setback. The company had invested significant resources into this trial, hoping to make a breakthrough in the fight against HIV. Following the announcement of the trial's discontinuation, Johnson & Johnson's shares took a hit, dropping by 1.3%. This might seem like a small number, but for a company of this size, it translates into a substantial financial impact. Moreover, this setback also raised questions about the viability of developing an effective HIV vaccine. The virus's rapid mutation and its ability to evade the immune system continue to be significant hurdles in this quest. It's a reminder of the complexity of HIV and the challenges that scientists and researchers face in trying to combat it. Yet this setback does not mark the end of the search for an HIV vaccine. Even in the face of disappointment, the scientific community remains resilient. The quest continues, spurred on by the knowledge that an effective vaccine would make protection against the virus more accessible and reduce the risk of transmission. This is not the end, but merely a bump in the long and winding road towards an HIV-free world. While the halt of the trial in Africa was a disappointing setback, it does not spell the end for HIV vaccine research. Indeed, the journey towards finding an effective HIV vaccine is strewn with challenges, but it also brims with hope and unyielding determination. In the world of science, every failure is an opportunity to learn and innovate. The termination of the Johnson & Johnson trial is no exception. It provides invaluable insights into the complexities of the virus and the immune system's response to it. It underscores the need for a more nuanced approach, one that can adapt to the rapid mutations of the virus and effectively stimulate the production of broadly neutralizing antibodies. Meanwhile, other promising avenues are being explored. Take, for instance, the experimental HIV vaccine EOD GT 860 MAR. In a recent Phase 1 study, it showed encouraging results, inducing broadly neutralizing antibody precursors in 97% of the recipients. This vaccine is designed to target and stimulate the production of these essential antibodies. While it's still in the early stages of development, it establishes a clinical proof of concept for developing boosting regimens against HIV. The pursuit of an HIV vaccine also prompts the scientific community to explore novel strategies. These include the use of cutting-edge technologies like gene editing and nanotechnology, as well as the development of therapeutic vaccines that could control the virus in people already infected. Despite the setbacks, the resolve of researchers and scientists remains unbroken. The quest for an HIV vaccine is more than just a scientific endeavor. It's a global commitment to make protection against the virus more accessible and reduce the risk of transmission, thereby saving millions of lives worldwide. As the saying goes, the end of one chapter is just the beginning of another. The search for an effective HIV vaccine continues. In this journey to understand the halt of the HIV vaccine trial in Africa, we have traversed the landscape of HIV vaccine research. We've explored the promising Phase 1 study of the experimental HIV vaccine, EOD GT 860 MAR, which showed a favorable safety profile and induced broadly neutralizing antibody precursors in the vast majority of recipients. We also delved into the details of the Johnson & Johnson trial, which, despite its high hopes, was unfortunately terminated due to its ineffectiveness in preventing infections. The impact of this halt is significant, but it is important to remember that this is part and parcel of scientific research. Setbacks often pave the way for new opportunities and discoveries. As we look towards the future of HIV vaccine research, we see ongoing efforts and trials that hold promise. We see relentless determination and a commitment to making protection against this virus more accessible, reducing the risk of transmission, and ultimately, eradicating HIV. While the halt of the trial was a setback, it is by no means the end. The quest for an effective HIV vaccine continues, and with it, the hope for a world free of HIV. Before we conclude, let's take a moment to reflect on the importance of our collective contribution to this quest. Your support, your interest, and your involvement in spreading awareness are vital. This journey is not just for the scientists in the lab, but for all of us. Remember, each one of us has a role to play in this quest for an HIV vaccine. By staying informed and spreading awareness, we're all contributing to the fight against HIV. If you found this video informative and want to continue supporting the cause, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and give this video a thumbs up. Your engagement helps us reach more people and spread awareness about important health-related topics like this one. We're grateful for your time and your interest in this important issue. Thank you for watching and stay tuned for more updates on the quest for an HIV vaccine. Together we can make a difference.